Well, they said for years Melbourne was the sporting capital of the world, but up until 2010, one vital ingredient was missing: a football derby that could rival Milan, Madrid or Merseyside. It arrived with a bang 4 years ago. The edge has been there from the word go, in truth. Now the arrival of Sheikh Mansour's petrodollars has given it extra spice. Perhaps that's why tonight is a 47,000 sellout, the biggest club in the league against the richest then, as we settle in for the 13th Melbourne derby. Well, Etihad Stadium, the venue for Melbourne Victory's greatest triumphs, but it is 5 years since they lifted a trophy. Many do believe this is their year. They showed resilience in Adelaide last weekend. They will hope to show their local rivals who is top dog in this city here tonight. And City are also unbeaten, albeit with 2 draws. And all the talk around them this week has been regarding the future of their marquee guest star, David Villa. But if City have the biggest star, then Victory have the most prolific in Bessart Berisha. And derby days are surely made for players like those. Well, it's been a pleasant, if rather cool day in Melbourne. Current temperatures 16 degrees, so perfect for football. The pitch looks good. Just 1 or 2 little threadbare spots around the centre circle. An expectation always high on derby day. There may not be much history in these local derbies in the Hyundai A-League, but the feeling is certainly there. Melbourne City fans heavily outnumbered, as you would expect. This is their away game, and already been irritated by a banner that's being held up by the Victory supporters, which says change your name, change your colours. This city will always be ours. A nice little welcome to their local neighbours. Still lots of red in those City supporters' jerseys and scarves as we await the arrival of the 2 teams. Another full house, perhaps a derby record tonight. The current mark, 45,402, set in the opening round of last season. We may go close to beating that tonight, with all tickets sold out earlier on this week. They will line up on the centre circle, buoyed by the fact that their crowd base is growing. A record non-derby attendance last weekend, of course, against the Newcastle Jets, playing in their new home strip of predominantly white with the sky blue and dark blue sash. So Melbourne City are here. We await now the arrival of Melbourne Victory, very much at home at this venue. Victory have played 72 previous games at Etihad Stadium. They have only won 1 of the previous 5 derbies to be played here at this stadium, though. But as their former coach, Ange Postecoglou, wrote in the press this week, this is not just another game. Etihad Stadium, a wonderful sight tonight. Perfect weather for the derby. So the 13th Melbourne derby is underway. Some have called this the biggest night in Australian club football history. The Melbourne derby here, the Asian Champions League final, of course, in Sydney. All we need now, Andy Harper, is a game to match the hype.
Well, if it's anything, it turns out to be anything like last week's Sydney derby, Simon, this won't be anything to be missed. You wouldn't want to miss it for a second. What a sight! What a gathering! What a cacophony! When the time to go is, and then react accordingly. And so far, Melbourne City have started very well in that front, much like Sydney FC did last night for 90 minutes against Brisbane, effectively.
Hoffman's looping header in field, finds Moy. Hoffman again. He's gone through the legs of Georgievski, and Duff has slalomed his way through one challenge, but not the second. Georgievski's claiming a dive.
And his first reaction Georgievski. Didn't surprise me. I didn't see a lot in that. Almost as though Damien Duff was taking evasive action. I don't know if there's any contact there at all. No, I think in the trade that's called simulation, Simon.
Well, he's conned Strebrej-Delovski, if that's the case. Referee's bought it. Nathan Coe's got a defensive situation to try and deal with. All of two guarding the near posts. Moy to drill it towards the far. There's a free header, and Melbourne City are in front. And it is Rob Wielaert, the Dutchman, who stole away from the markers. And here's a stat. Melbourne City have never lost a derby in which they've scored first. And they are in front in the 13th minute.
Well, hugely controversial. Hugely controversial. The awarding of the free kick. It's a brilliantly executed one thereafter. Wonderful flight on that free kick by Aaron Moy. And Robbie Wielaert, who's looked as good this season as he has since he arrived in Australia, really hammered home the header and the point. Around the back stick, it was Georgievski. Wrongly penalised, in my view, for the free kick originally. He looks to have lost Wielaert on the far post.
Well, question marks from Victory, not only over the award of the set piece, but I'm sure who was supposed to be picking up Rob Wielaert. There was nobody within a cooey of him.
This is a key ingredient, and we marvel at the skillful proficiency of the best players in the world, but make no mistake, they can also motor.
And also the quick brains of the best footballers. Now there's a bit of room here for Jason Hoffman. Can he find the right delivery? He kept it in play. Out it comes for Aaron Moy. Left foot not his favoured from long range. Victory struggling to get it away. Spooned up in the air really from Guy Finkler. Villa dispossessed by Valeri. Away races Costa Barbarouses. Can he find the right cross this time? Two in the box for him. He threads it through. Beautiful ball. Finkler and Thompson a tap in. There's no offside against Archie Thompson. And Melbourne Victory are level. And Archie Thompson scores his fourth derby goal. He now has the record outright.
Well, that was a simply brilliant counter-attack, and just as you described the pictures, Simon, so accurately about Melbourne Victory struggling to get out of their penalty area, like a thief in the night, they flushed upfield. Costa Barbarouses with a hell of a burst of speed down the right flank. Now let's keep the eye on Archie Thompson. It's a beautiful ball to Finkler. He's off. It's contention again here at Etihad Stadium. 1-1 on the scoreboard and 1-1 in the controversy stakes.
Well, the appeals were immediate from the Melbourne City players, and Archie Thompson just had a little glance behind, which is sometimes a giveaway before going into his regular goal celebration routine. So we've had one contentious free kick at one end that led to a goal, and arguably an offside decision which should have been given at the other. So the ledger is perhaps squared.
But you wouldn't want it any other way. What a stunning burst in counter-attack. Great stuff, Costa Barbarouses. And the ball to Finkler was exquisite.
Well, the touch paper has been well and truly lit in the Melbourne derby. Here's Damien Duff. Goal kick.
Well, it is end-to-end here at Etihad. You daren't take your eyes off the pitch. It's been blistering, this Melbourne derby.
Rarely fails to deliver, whether in terms of goals or talking points, and we've had both already. Now it's John Van Schip's turn to berate the officials for what he feels is a poor decision. few more of those to come, you'd fancy. Archie Thompson's 80th Hyundai A-League goal. He is, of course, the competition's leader in that regard.
So I was only going to say, Simon, just a quick, they're only bad decisions when they go against you.
Here's Duff. Picking out David Villa delightfully. Far side of the penalty area. Two for company. Back it comes for Madoka, who's held up by Milligan. Well, it was initially well defended, and then they've given it away again to Madoka, and he earns Melbourne City a corner.
Wonderful perseverance, Mas Madoka.
Well, if there's one word to sum up Madoka, you'd probably say tenacity. That's what he brings in spades. Great noise around Etihad Stadium. Victory fans buoyed by that equaliser. City fans no doubt pleased by their team's early showing. Moy with the corner to the top of the box, gets it back off to Gantic, clips it in. Oh, goalkeeper's come a long way, hasn't got there, and it's Jason Hoffman, another unlikely goal scorer, and Melbourne City lead for the second time in this derby. Nathan Coe came an awful long way and got nowhere near it.
Well, the first credit's got to go to the variation again on the set piece from Melbourne City. They've come in really prepared. It's a short ball to the top of the penalty area. Aaron Moy again with perfect touch to set that one up. 2 assists for the night for Aaron Moy. And Nova Castri and Jason Hoffman rises higher than anyone else. And the benediction, surely, Simon, must be to the goalkeeper, Nathan Coe. If you're coming, Nathan, if you're coming, goalkeeper, you get the ball, the defenders, the attackers, everything, and you punch all of them out of the penalty area.
Well, goodness me, Hearts. We talked an awful lot about Melbourne Victory's defensive frailties last season. They were supposed to be a thing of the past, weren't they?
I reckon Mark Milligan looms as a big key for Kevin Muscat's team in this second half. He's got a fabulous range of passing, the Victory skipper, and I think that's got to be unleashed in the second half. Not every time he gets the ball, but they've got to mix things up a bit, the Victory. They've got to switch the play with a little bit more regularity just to move the Melbourne City defence around, because Thompson has looked particularly dangerous down this near touchline, and Barbarousis on the other has looked pretty handy as well. Got to release them more so Finkler can have some space to do his thing.
That was Finkler feeding Barbarousis. There's 2 for company, and he's barged his way through them both. Still Barbarousis, great effort, and into the back of the net from Besart Berisha, who has 50 A-League goals, and Melbourne Victory are level once again. In stoppage time at the end of the first half. A half-century of goals in the competition for the most controversial, yet certainly most lethal predator in the A-League's history.
Well, those scenes look like it's almost brought Besart Berisha to tears. Such is the energy and the electrical charge in this stadium, and a lot of it coming from Costa Barbarousis. He and Archie Thompson for the Victory have provided real outlets and a real lifeline, and he just refused to say no, did Costa Barbarousis, and he forces the deflection off Andrew Redmayne. At second effort, the swipe not good enough from the City goalkeeper, and Besart Berisha finds the roof of the net to get Melbourne Victory back 2-2.
Well, this is turning into an epic derby. We're not even at half-time yet. 5 goals in 8 against Melbourne City for Berisha. He'd barely been sighted up until that moment. A real goal poacher's goal. Goodness me. And was there perhaps even a hint of a foul on Ian Ramsey in the build-up? Another potential talking point. Free header for Kisnorbo, claims for handball. Strebre Delovski says chest. Well, you can't take your eyes off this one for a moment. Victory have still got some work to do before they're getting level at the break.
Well, their defending from those set pieces and crosses has been poor. Kevin Muscat's got to do something about it, because Norbo's had 2, if not 3, great chances.
Great chances, great first half. Wow. Typical Derby fare. Besart Berisha drawing Melbourne Victory level for the second time after Jason Hoffman. And before that, Rob Villaert had scored for the visitors. Archie Thompson on the mark as well for Victory. A couple of those goals at least a little bit controversial in the build-up. So many talking points, 4 goals, and hopefully so much more to come in front of a packed house at Etihad Stadium. Great stuff. And at the break, it's all square. Melbourne Victory 2, Melbourne City 2. So it's Victory who get us back underway, and Besart Berisha starting Andy Harper, no doubt, as he means to go on.
You get the feeling he couldn't wait for half-time to be finished. It was a furious end of that first half.
Here he goes inside the penalty area, a couple of step-overs. Berisha! Oh, what a start to the second half! And what a moment for Besart Berisha! You said he couldn't wait for the second period to get underway, and that is why. Well on his way to his second half century, and Melbourne Victory lead for the first time tonight. City caught cold.
I didn't expect him to take me so literally, Simon. Amazing. Took a deflection, the shot. Redmayne looked like his weight was going towards the far post, and the ball ended up going in the near post. But Berisha, his second touch, 20 seconds into the half. The first was direct, the second was lethal. A little shimmy to get rid of Damien Duff. It takes a deflection off the derriere of Melbourne City's goal scorer, Robbie Villaert. And Redmayne could do nothing but throw the right leg out in hope. What a start for Melbourne Victory. And what about that for a piece of television? The scenes here at Etihad, amazing.
Well, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And for most of the first half, this derby was very tough indeed, not only for Melbourne Victory, but for Besart Berisha. He barely had a sniff, and almost by sheer force of will, he's not only got himself onto the score sheet twice, he's got Victory noses in front for the first time.
I'll take whatever punishment's coming my way, but we've got to stem the tide, because Victory are in control.
To that end, John Van Schip is going to send on another substitute in just a moment. More news on that presently. Meantime, Barbarouses to drill it across. Oh, and it's almost an own goal from Paddy Kisnorbo. With Redmayne stretching, it grazed off the crossbar and goes behind for a corner.
Well, Barbarouses is on fire. Ian Ramsey is having all manner of trouble containing him. He's no slouch, Ian Ramsey. Redmayne probably had that covered. Nervous moment for Melbourne City.
Finkler's corner, the outswinger. Met by Partaloo, volleyed back in by Milligan. And it'll pop out again for Finkler. Cutting inside Brown, firing on goal. It's fairly poleaxed Paddy Kisnorbo, who took the full brunt of that. Then a shank off the boot of Moy. City just can't get it clear at the moment. Here's Finkler onside. Good shape to that cross, and Robbie Villaert took control, and that was probably a good option.
Well, they're just hanging on. They're just hanging on, Melbourne City. You fancy the exertions of that first half in pressing Melbourne Victory and doing it so effectively. It's perhaps taking a bit of a toll, because they're really struggling to hang on here at the moment, Melbourne City.
One more goal might kill it for the Victory. Flicked on at the near post by Del Pierre. Again, they can't really get it. Oh, now is that a foul by Brown? It is penalty. James Brown, so clumsy on Matthew Del Pierre, and Strebre Delovski points to the penalty spot. And at first glance, it looks like a good decision. There aren't too many protests from City. And this could be a game killer.
No, it's a penalty. on the man who possibly committed a penalty offence on Damien Duff earlier in the half, but that's a clear penalty. There can be no conjecture about that.
No prizes for guessing who's going to take the spot kick. He's on a hat-trick. Besart Berisha has 3. Melbourne victory lead 4-2. Arise, the new hero of Melbourne victory.
Well, Etihad Stadium is fairly rocking at the moment. Come from behind twice, and now they're 2 kick clear. I'll get to that eventually. And Besart Berisha with a hat-trick on his derby debut.
Well, you couldn't ask for better, could you? In your first taste of this oh-so-Melbourne occasion. Redmayne guessed the right way, but it was just too good from Besart Berisha. Doesn't normally miss from 11 metres. They were used to Kevin Muscat. He used to tuck those away with a plum. Now they've got Berisha. And he has a hat-trick. After being relatively anonymous in the first half. It's incredible, isn't it? How football changes. A defeat for City tonight would bring up a rather unwanted milestone. It would be their 50th in the Hyundai A-League. That's going to bounce away from Calfella. Success, of course, has proved elusive under the guise of Melbourne Hearts. Hoping for better as Melbourne City. Still a long way to go, of course, this season. They've got Adelaide United at home next weekend. Maybe then they can get that first win of the campaign. That's a beautiful ball by Barbarouses. Here's Archie Thompson to finish it once and for all. Thompson! A brace for Archie. Game over. The derby is won for Melbourne victory. What a ball through from Costa Barbarouses. And beautiful in the execution from Archie Thompson too. 5-2.
Well, the hangman has just pulled the floor from underneath Melbourne City, and quite ruthlessly. That was brilliant from Barbarouses. Linking with Thompson, both have been outstanding tonight. He's in great form, Costa Barbarouses. It's a beaut ball. It's a great first touch. He got round Redmayne, no worries whatsoever. Buried the ball in the back of the net. 5 for Melbourne victory. A comprehensive win for the home team on the back of an outstanding second half. 3 for Berisha, 2 for Thompson.
And 5 derby goals for Archie Thompson. The outright leading goal scorer in this particular fixture. City do have a corner. Met though by Mahazi and helped on its way by Barbarouses as victory exact some sort of revenge, I suppose, Andy, for that 4-0 thumping they took in the last derby meeting. Back to the drawing board for John Van Schip and co. All looked so rosy for them in the first half. There's Thompson, and poured away only momentarily by Redmayne. Here's Mahazi to try and keep it alive. Back across the face again, and Thompson, or rather Calfella, is pressing Jason Hoffman, but he had a handful of his jersey as well. The final action of a thrilling, nay, epic derby. And it ends in victory for Melbourne victory. Didn't look that way in the first half. But a blitz of 3 goals after the break, started by Besart Berisha after just 19 seconds of the second period. on his way to a hat-trick was enough to see off a gallant Melbourne City. Revenge of sorts for the victory for the 4-0 loss back in March, as Melbourne City's first derby under their new guys ends in bitter defeat. Victory's unbeaten start continues. They go joint top alongside Sydney, and they and the Light Blues of Sydney FC may take some stopping this season. The full-time scoreline, after a glut of goals and just as many talking points: Melbourne victory 5, Melbourne City 2.